Okay, so I have my I got my text here. I got my green on there, and now if I were to do all this painting and I was to paint it by hand, piece by piece, inch by inch, that'd be fine. You can do that. You want to export it to Photoshop. There are lots of different ways you want to do it in regards to that. And what I want to do now is I want to use masking to help me further along the paint process and make it a little faster, and also make it a little bit more dynamic. So one of my favorites, we'll start with one of my favorites. You go into your masking tab and go mask by cavity, okay, and go ahead and click that, and it doesn't look like anything's happened necessarily until I switch it. If you switch it, I got these little masks, and what it's done is it's masked off just the lowest parts, it's based upon what setting I had. So if let's say I clear this mask and I want an intensity, let's lower the intensity there. Actually, let's take the blur up. We'll keep the intensity high and we'll take the blur up. We'll mask the cavity now, and we'll see what I get. So, okay, that's a lot more cavities. There's a lot more cavities than I initially had with the first one. So, I'll take that down a little bit, but I do kind of like what I'm getting here. I just don't like how high it is here in this range. And we'll go ahead and mask by cavity again. See what we get. Inverse that, and it's okay, it's fine. We'll go ahead and just use this just for the sake of time. And what I've gone is I've got a darkish green I'm working with now. And I'm just gonna lightly, because it's not 100% masked off, I'm gonna lightly go over this stuff. And what it's doing is in certain areas of my model, it's painting a light coat of dark green. In other areas of my model, it's painting 100% dark green, and that's based upon my mask. So as you see here, it's way darker down here than it is in this area, even though I'm drawing on both. And so what this is doing is it's in the end, it's going to be giving me a little bit more color variance, a little bit less just of a static one tone object, one color object. So it usually works in your favor in regards to using these masking techniques to do your colors. So we've gone through and added our what I would consider my shadows and areas. And so when you take that off, this is actually the detail that we just painted on. Let's go ahead and get a little something different, a little different color in there, a little deal. So we'll go here, mask peaks and valleys, and see what we get. So this is real different. This is a pretty interesting design here, and I really like it. What's happening throughout these flat areas specifically, and I like what's going on through here. And so I think I'm gonna, especially all this. Actually, I don't want to touch this because I like how solid it is. I'm not going to touch that area as much as I want to. But these guys specifically are the ones I'm pretty happy with. So I'm going to go in and let's get color opposite of my green here. We'll go in and find a decent orange. I say a decent orange again. Watch out with me in the colors. I'm going to reduce my size because I only want this stuff to be in there, and then I'm going to also reduce my RGB intensity because it's really shooting a lot of orange in there, and I don't want that much everywhere. I want it to look kind of faded. And so we'll go through here and just give it what you got. But anyway, the best thing is, I mean, you could have added a noise filter in Photoshop. You could have done a lot of different things to get this kind of a noise pattern, but it's excellent that you can just extract noise out of your model within the program you're operating in. And so that's one of the main things I'd like to see here. I'm actually going to do this one blue because I really like. That's what I want to do. And so for this one, I want to change my color some more. I'll get a darker red. And then what I'll do is I'll just change my range a little bit. And I'll mask that. I'll do the mask peaks and valleys again. And we'll see what we got. So again, that did something different, and I'll inverse so I have some more variation to play with. And I want to add some red on this whole bottom line here. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a pull than its top brother. And then I'll do the same with these guys. We'll add the red into this as well. And so when we take that off, that's okay. Actually, I'm not too happy with that, but we'll cover that up here in a little bit. So we'll mask the peaks and valleys one more time. Inverse that, and we'll go back to another orange. So again, I had no concept of what color, anything like that before I started, but this is just tabula rasa here. So there we go. I turn my mask off. I'm getting a little bit more detail out of that. Now let's mask by color here. What's that going to do for us? Playing with the masks now. I want to get the ability to add some more dirt style effects here for these edges. I actually want to go way lighter. So kind of add that in there. Some scratches going. Okay, we'll go ahead and leave that as is and move on to this B. We'll do some blue here. Start by masking the peaks and valleys. Yeah, that's good. I get some detail on the blade, edge of the blade. So, a little bit lighter blue for this guy. Let's go ahead and add our silvers. So I'm just using this peaks and valleys to be able to highlight some areas that I want to bring out. So, it's like these edges all along these areas here. If you turn your mask off, you can see exactly that you're adding. So I'm getting kind of a little worn edge there. Okay. So it's getting there. It's about where I want. In regards to showing you how to use the mask to kind of pull out your detail and stuff. Now, obviously, you can go way further and continue to customize and continue to stack colors and stack layers and do all that. But the general idea of I'll go ahead and clear my mask now. The general idea of how to use the tools how to use the masking tools to be able to get a little bit more detail than just a flat color is there, and so it's very obvious and it's awesome to use. So the last thing I'll do is I'll change the materials on this and get it ready to render. Only area of materials that I'm even going to change are these green areas, and that is to make it a little bit more swampy at the end of the day. So we'll go ahead and, with my brush selected, go through here and do all these guys. And one of the things you can do if you want is never mind. I'm going to go into it. Yeah. So we got all the swampy scales, just rolling over them with our material that is openly selected. The reason I'm not filling it and dropping it is because I want to change the material a lot of times when I render. So I'm going to use just this green stuff as my deal. Okay, so that's what I want to do. And so when I go and change it again, look, only the areas that I've been painting on retain the material that I just had. And so that was a gel shader. Going to give me a real specular quality. Now the thing about that though is I'm not going to be changing that material again throughout the render process. So this is changed back into more of a metal. You can see. With that being said, let's get some renders on this guy.